AITAH for asking my pregnant wife to leave our home.
My wife and I have
after
been
she
together
faked
for
breaking
3
up with me
years,
just
and
to get
she's
a
currently
reaction out of
pregnant
me
with our first child.
I think I was too harsh.
For some context, I'm a surgeon and have always had long hours. This has been a known part of my life since before we started dating. Recently, she's been asking me to leave my job to do something with better hours, like private practice, because she says we need more time together. While I totally understand her perspective, being a surgeon is what I've worked my entire life for, and my long hours are just part of that. I can't just flip a switch and move into clinic work. It's not that simple, and it's not what I trained for. Anyway, the other day, out of the blue, she says she doesn't want to be in this marriage anymore because of the issues we've been having. Mainly, she wants more of my time, which, as I said, isn't possible given my career. When she told me she wanted out, I just said, okay. I told her that I appreciate her being honest and that if she truly feels like she can't be happy with me, I understand. I'm a secure person, and if she's not happy, I'm not going to convince her to stay with me just for the sake of staying together. She seemed surprised by my reaction and asked why I wasn't fighting for our marriage or trying to fix things. I told her that if I did, it would feel like I'm begging her to stay, and that's not what I want. If she's unhappy, she doesn't owe me a reason to leave. The point is that she doesn't want to be with me, and that's enough. This seemed to frustrate her even more. She said something like, "So you'd rather walk away than work on the reasons why I'm unhappy?" I told her it's not that. I would have been happy to have a conversation about making things work realistically, but she already decided she wanted out. And I firmly told her that I wasn't going to be in a situation with my partner where they expected me to beg or grovel for their love. I respect myself too much for that. She started crying and confessed that this whole thing wasn't real, that she was just testing me. She wanted to see how I would react because she's been feeling neglected with me not being around enough, and she thought that breaking up would force me to address that. By that point, I'd already changed my mind. I told her I can't be with someone who would casually say they want to end our marriage just to get a reaction out of me. If she's willing to throw around the idea of breaking up so easily to make a point, that's a huge red flag for me. I told her I deserve a relationship built on mutual respect and commitment, and this isn't it. Now I've decided to leave. I've asked her to move to her parents' place since the house is mine. She's pregnant, and I know this complicates things, but after what she did, I don't feel like this marriage is salvageable. Here's my take. First, NTA. I hate this kind of garbage ultimatum behavior. It's childish. I understand why you reacted the way you did. However, I believe what your wife wants is to feel like a priority. I'm not in your marriage, but feeling like a priority doesn't necessarily mean changing your work or life. When you are with your wife, how do you two interact? Are you present? Do you try to take some of the burden of planning things to do together, of making her feel special? Does she do things for you that you don't acknowledge and take for granted? Are you vulnerable with her? And do you tell her that the hours you put in are for both of you? Yes, fulfillment for you in your career, but also to build a life that hopefully will be quite comfortable with you being a surgeon. I don't think one childish episode from your wife, who is pregnant and perhaps has a lot of hormones messing with her, is sufficient reason to give up and walk away if you truly love her. I believe you need to sit down with a good counselor to help get to the heart of what your wife actually wants. If she truly is demanding a career change to private practice, then you can walk away and co-parent your child. But if what she wants is to feel like she is as important to you as your work, then I think you could make some small changes that could really alleviate that. That's my take. A random Redditor who often has to tell my husband that I would like more of his attention. It's not about a number of hours or days. I just want to feel like I'm still his priority when we do have time together. I work in healthcare and have seen firsthand how this stuff plays out. You either get the surgeon who, when they are home, gives 100% of their time to their spouses and family, but it's never enough for the spouse, or you get the surgeon who, when they are home, still acts like they're God and makes no effort, because what they do is so dang important. They should be catered to and groveled upon just for bracing you with their presence. Can't really tell which group he falls into. It's always sad to me that 95% of surgeons have that one scrub nurse who knows them inside out, while their wives really don't know them at all. I've always asked the surgeons why even get married when you're married to the job and really can't dedicate the time to a spouse who has needs. And none of them have ever given me a solid answer other than, I don't know, or I never really thought about that. Edit. Some of you are really reaching with the assumptions. So I'm going to clarify. I am not saying healthcare workers need to be celibate. I am not saying healthcare workers are not allowed to get married. I am saying if your first priority is your job, when you do not put in the effort to make sure you are providing for your partner emotionally the way you do financially, when you are not dedicating the time and effort it takes to make a relationship work, why get married? If you are not going to hold up your end of the commitment you made to your spouse, why keep them around to suffer loneliness? I would say the same to any individual who just didn't make the effort to participate in a marriage they willingly signed up for. This is the correct take. Yes, what she did was childish and immature. But if her reasoning is that she feels neglected, you did absolutely show this through your own interaction. No OP. I would not go into this begging for anything either. But I would talk it out and not jump straight to, I'm not fighting for you and you can leave. Especially with you two being married. That's absurdity. People have fights in relationships and get upset in relationships, and miscommunications happen. Hers was a childish one. Does that mean you dump her pregnant butt on the street? Probably not, if you haven't even attempted to work through this. As soon as you realized this was a game she was playing, you could ask her why she felt the need to play it. Communicate how it made you feel. Pride and not begging is not a reason to do anything, especially if you feel like the marriage isn't loveless. If there have been a lot of issues and you feel as though you are in a loveless marriage, then that's different. But I wouldn't let this one situation determine your relationship's future. I would have conversations about it, treat each other with respect, and validate each other's concerns. If that can't happen, then end it, but not sooner, and not without a full-blown discussion about how these types of situations impact your emotional state negatively, and also hearing out her reasoning for doing this in the first place.